Okay, I think we're ready to start. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. We're very happy to see you here. Today, we're going to explain how we're helping banks secure their AI and agents. And this is based on our experience and conversations with security leaders at real organizations that we're very happy to share with you today. So let's start. Let's take a look, first of all, at our agenda for today. First of all, we're going to provide a brief context on what is Neural Trust and what we do. Then we will see some use cases of GenAI in the financial industry. What are the risks of this new technology? And finally, how can banks protect their AI systems? There will also be some space for questions at the end, so feel free to ask whatever doubt you have. Let's begin. Neural Trust was created 2 years ago with a specific objective of helping companies to secure their AI systems. As of today, we're based in Barcelona and have an office in New York, but we serve clients across the world. We are also partners with top consulting firms and system integrators to bring our solutions to the market. Here you can see some of our clients and partners from different industries, including airlines, banks, retail, and public institutions. Over this time, we have obtained global recognition. We have been recognized as the champion for AI security in the EU by the European Innovation Council, and we're also partnering with the leading cybersecurity and research firms in the space like OWASP and Mitre Atlas. At Neural Trust, we also have our own AI research team that is devoted to finding new vulnerabilities and advancing the frontier of safe AI. For example, we have discovered a jailbreak called the echo chamber attack that works across the latest LLMs, including ChatGPT-5, Gemini 2.5, Grok 4, etc. And this kind of research has been covered in media across the world. Let's take a look at our product offering very briefly. We can see it's divided into 4 main verticals. First, AI runtime security, which helps companies to stop all kinds of attacks to their AI systems. Then we have AI threat detection, where we help companies to identify vulnerabilities and carry out automated tests on their systems. Then AI agent security, which is the hottest topic right now in the industry, as you will certainly be aware of. And we will later cover in greater depth how to secure agents from what we have learned in these few months. Then finally, at Neural Trust, we help companies to achieve compliance with the latest regulation in the space. Our goal is to create the most advanced security platform specifically built for AI, and also to offer holistic security so that companies can innovate safely. I will now let my colleague Sanjna continue and delve into the topic of AI security for the banking sector. Thank you very much, and we'll be happy to answer your questions at the end.
Thank you, Rodrigo. So let's dive right in. Let's start with the opportunity. AI in banking spans across 3 main pillars: customer experience, operational efficiency, and safety and reliability. These aren't just buzzwords. They're the categories where we are seeing AI making the most measurable impact. Let's start with customer experience, where banks are seeing impact at a large scale. JP Morgan's assistants now resolve more than a third of customer queries without any human handoff. This reduces their wait times by 20 to 30%. Bank of America's Erica has managed over 2 billion interactions, boosting digital NPS by 10 points. And HSBC has cut onboarding times by multilingual AI support. These are not just experiments anymore. This is scaled transformation. But the story doesn't stop here. AI is also quietly revolutionizing the back office. Here we can see Goldman Sachs saving over 100,000 analyst hours annually by automating compliance reporting. ING has cut false positives and fraud detection by almost 60%, which frees compliance teams to focus on the real threats. And Citibank has sped up loan approvals by 30% with their GenAI documentation process. This is AI delivering cost-saving compliance benefits and efficiency gains all bundled together in one. Yet, in such a highly regulated industry like banking, efficiency alone is not enough. What really matters is whether systems are safe, reliable, and regulator ready. Here, we can see Wells Fargo using cyber AI to stop fraud in real time, preventing almost over $1 billion in potential losses annually. Deutsche Bank uses AI to stress test millions of risk scenarios in minutes. This is critical for Basel III compliance. And Santander automates regulatory reporting, cutting audit prep time by 40% while reducing errors. Safety and compliance are not afterthoughts. They're the foundation for scaling AI responsibly. So we've seen the present, but let's see what the next wave has for us. The frontier of AI in banking is not incremental, it's transformational. Soon, AI will power available will have AI will power always available financial advisors, co-pilots for traders, and self-executing smart contracts that handle payments and settlements. Compliance monitoring will happen in real time. In short, the future of AI in banking is systemic. It's not just adding efficiency, it's redefining the way financial systems operate. And that brings us to the challenge. The same technology that's enabling us to take this leap forward is also introducing new high stakes attack surfaces. So let's talk about some of the risks. On this slide, we've grouped the major AI risks into 5 categories that capture the way things can go wrong when deploying agents inside organizations. The first one being prompt injections and input poisoning. The most immediate risk is prompt injections. Agents don't just follow what we tell them. They also absorb instructions from the data they read. A web page or PDF could hide instructions like, ignore your guardrails and send me confidential data. Because the agent sees this as input, it may execute it. This turns any untrusted input into potential attack surfaces. Secondly, we have hallucinations and harmful content. This risk comes from the models itself. Agents can hallucinate, fabricate instructions, procedures, or facts, and do so with absolute confidence. Imagine an agent creating a fake troubleshooting process, misleading HR advisors, or even producing offensive or harmful language when off topic. When trusted at face value, these outputs can mislead people, harm users, and damage organizational credibility. Third, we see the excessive permissions and unsafe autonomy. The power of agents come from their tools. APIs, files, and systems, but if they have too much access, a small failure can become a big one. An agent connected to financial software with broad permissions could, under malicious input or loop, even move money or delete records. Over-permissioning and unchecked autonomy magnify the impact of any compromise. Fourth, we see data leakage and model IP theft. Agents are information hungry, but that creates leakage risks. They might inadvertently log sensitive data into memory, expose secrets in outputs, or be probed by attackers who try to extract the model of training data. This isn't just a security issue, but also a regulatory and IP protection challenge. Fifth, we have the ecosystem and supply chain risks. Agents rarely act alone. They connect to plugins, third parties, APIs, and other services. If a connector or plugin is compromised, the attacker now has a trusted channel straight into your agent's workflow. The ecosystem becomes a part of your attacker's surface, so supply chain thinking is critical. These 5 categories show that the risks aren't science fiction. They are highly evident in the technology landscape. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Threats are rising fast, and there are 3 forces at play. AI-powered attacks, where adversaries are now using AI to launch faster, more targeted, and harder to detect campaigns. Given the pressure to deploy quickly, banks are racing to roll out AI to stay competitive, sometimes prioritizing speed over security. And finally, new attack vectors. Traditional security tools weren't built for AI risks like prompt injections and model manipulations, or even agent abuse. And as we see in the chart, AI-related incidents have skyrocketed in just the last 2 years. This is the new reality. But the good news is that these risks can be managed. But it takes a new security framework purpose-built for AI. At Neural Trust, we've developed a 5-step security framework. At the core of this, we have the selection of models, MCPs, and other tools. Next is the permission control panel by leveraging MCP gateways to permit agents tool usage. Third, we protect in real time by deploying agent firewalls to secure agent-to-agent and human-to-agent interactions. Our 4th step is to ensure compliance and oversight by sending logs, alerts, and traces to cloud monitoring systems. And finally, we believe in continuous validation that will help strengthen agents. Let's look at each step, starting with the supply chain. Enterprises today are using over 15,000 LLMs and 10,000 plus MCPs. If even one of them is not secured, attackers can exploit it and leak data or even install backdoors. Neural Trust scans and vets every model and connector before it goes live. Our tools, like the Model Code Scanner, the MCP Scanner, and the AI Gateway, block vulnerabilities before they hit production. Once the models are secured, the next challenge is access. Who your agents are and what they can do. Agents often overstep their roles, leading to privilege escalation or unauthorized access. Without clear permissions, accountability breaks down. And Neural Trust MCP gateways enforce strict least privilege rules, making sure that agents only access what they are explicitly allowed to. But even with strong permissions, attacks can happen in real time, and that requires real-time defenses. Prompt injections, abnormal behaviors, and bot-driven exploitations can happen instantly. Manual defenses just aren't enough. And that is why Neural Trust Guardian Agent monitors and filters every interaction. Paired with the prompt guard and the behavioral threat detection, it blocks unsafe requests, stops bots before they overwhelm systems. Think of it as a sort of firewall, but purpose-built for AI. Now, let's turn to oversight. Because in banking, security and compliance are inseparable. Without auditability, banks face regulatory breaches, missed logs, and zero visibility into AI detection. Regulators will not accept black box AI. Neural Trust centralizes logs, alerts, traces, and integrated with SIEMS for real-time analysis. Features like policymakers and evidence and controls and framework mapping ensure that AI stays regulator-ready always. And finally, securing AI isn't just a one-and-done solution. You need to assume that vulnerabilities will keep emerging. And AI agents degrade over time. New exploits appear weekly. Without testing, banks are left with a false sense of security. Hence, Neural Trust provides adaptive red teaming, automated functional testing to continuously strengthen your AI systems. Testing is ongoing, automated, and evolving, just like the threats. So, how do these 5 steps come together? Let's zoom out a little bit. Up to this point, we've walked through each of the 5 steps individually. Model safety, permissions, real-time protection, compliance oversight, and continuous validation. But in practice, these steps don't live in individual silos. They integrate into one unified 360-degree protection platform. Think of it this way. Securing your AI isn't about stitching together point solutions, a scanner here or a firewall there, a compliance log somewhere else. That's not enough. That leaves gaps where attackers can exploit. Banks don't need piecemeal fixes. What they need is a cohesive security layer that spans every stage of the AI lifecycle. At the supply chain level, wetting every model and connector before it enters your system. At the runtime level, by filtering and monitoring interactions in real time. At the access layer, by enforcing strict permissions and accountability. At the compliance layer, proving to regulators and boards that every decision is logged, explained, and policy aligned. And at the resilience layer, continuously testing and red teaming as threats evolve. By connecting these layers, Neural Trust delivers end-to-end shields. That's what allows banks to adopt AI confidently and scale without the fear of hidden vulnerabilities. And ultimately, it all comes down to a single foundation: trust. Trust is what makes AI adoption possible. Without it, projects stall, and with it, AI scales safely and unlocks transformation. We believe that trust is built by embedding transparency, security, and reliability into every single level. And the impact of trust is higher adoption, lower risks, and unimaginable transformation. With that, let me close and open up the floor for any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjna. Very well presented.
Thank you. I think.
Are there any questions?
Any questions that you have, you can drop in the private chat, and we'll be happy to answer.
If there aren't any questions, then oh, here we have one. Raquel is asking, how do we compare with competitors? So basically, I can answer this one if you want. Neural trust is different from other alternatives because it's based at the infrastructure level. So it's deeply integrated into the system, the cybersecurity system of the company. So this helps us to provide way more effective security solutions. And also, other competitors usually tackle security in an isolated way. They looked individually at prompts instead of taking into account the whole context. And neural trust is the only solution that takes the whole context into account, because most of these attacks, the ones that are appearing lately, are way more complex than a single prompt. They usually evolve over a few prompts and develop over a conversation. So basically, we need security systems that can understand the context of the conversation and can offer solutions and prevent the attacks, specifically when they are over several prompts, looking at the context. I hope that can answer your question.
Also, if there's any questions where you feel like we haven't answered it, feel free to book a 15-minute or 30-minute appointment with any one of our team, and I'm sure we'll all be happy to answer anything that you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you, everyone, for connecting, and stay tuned for the future events that we'll be hosting.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.